Hi, I'm Ben, I like Kill Team, and I want to talk about it. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the brutal side of the Brutal Cunning Kill Team box, and that would be the Orc Rekkas. Orcs are back in Kill Team. Folks, this is good news, because Commandos don't count. They actually never counted. Commandos are not real orcs, they're fake orcs. They're actually, I don't even believe in Commandos. They're not real, they can't hurt you anymore. No need to be afraid. Commandos are a figment of your imagination. Orc Rekkas are the truth, and they're fun, and they're zany, and they're real orcs, and they're swingy sometimes, and they're just silly. It's a very silly, fun team. 8 operatives. You get 6 orcs and 2 squigs. I'll put a little spinny video up somewhere here. It's kind of like you think of it as like it's an elite team, which again I really like, but it's sort of an elite team somewhere in the middle, kind of like a Hyrotech. It's sort of a weird parallel to Hyrotech, and it's a lot of fun. So let's take a look. Side note: I'm a little new to this whole box review stuff, so be gracious with me. My team is not fully painted. I was at Worlds. Okay, give me a break. I was at Worlds. I didn't have time to get them fully painted, but they are sort of battle ready. And but I'm new to this whole box review thing, so give me some grace. I would appreciate it. So let's start with operatives. So what can they take? Starting off with 1, a Rekka Crew Boss Nog with either Rocket Pistol and Smash Hammer, or 2 Rocket Pistols. 2 Rocket Pistols every time. We'll get to it later. 2 Rekka Crew Bomb Squigs. They gotta come every time, and why would you ever want to not bring them? They're so good. 5 Rekka Crew operatives selected from the following list: Breakaboy Demolisher, Breakaboy Fighter, Breakaboy Crusher, Tankbusta Gunner, and Tankbusta Rokketeer. Some of those you always take. One of those you never take. We will get into it a little bit later. And their archetypes are Seek and Destroy and Security. And that's good because Seek and Destroy and Security are both great options. I think this team probably does better with Security in the games that I have played, but I'm no master. I am simply a vessel of the Rekkas. So let's keep going here. They have 2 really cool faction abilities, and they're fun and enjoyable to put on the table and work out, and it's also thematic. I really like them. One is Rekka Rampage. Rekka Rampage. Whenever a friendly Rekka Crew operative is shooting, fighting, or retaliating in the roll attack dice step, for each attack dice result of 6 you retain, you gain 1 Rekka point. Now note, this is not a crit, but this is a natural 6, okay? You can spend up to 3 of your Rekka points unless it's a bomb squig. For each point you spend this way, retain 1 of your fails as a normal success instead of discarding it. And you cannot have more than 6 Rekka points at once. If you start an action with 6 Rekka points, you cannot gain any more during that activation. So you can't cheese it out. So you kind of want to get this ball rolling, this ball of 6s rolling. If you don't roll 6s, it's unfortunate, but a lot of their attacks are 6 attack dice. So on average, the math is you should be rolling 1 6 per shooting attack that we'll get into later. So you should be generating these fairly easy. And like it's every shooting attack, every retaliation. So like you roll a 6 here. Sometimes you roll 2, 3 6s. And then like, oh, all of a sudden now I'm at 6 Rekka points and I'll just never miss anything ever again. So really cool. Then we've got Tanked Up. Okay. Whenever a friendly Rekka Crew operative, excluding a bomb squig, that has an engage order performs the fight or shoot action, excluding guard, add 1 to its APL stat until the start of its next activation. This being an elite team, everybody here is 2 APL, which is sort of a hard pill to swallow initially, but it's really not that bad. So you just have to plan around, which is kind of fun. Like I'm coming from playing Legionaries, and like they are just way too strong this edition, and so you just do anything you want all the time. This makes you work for it in a fun way. And so the big deal is just you can't move, dash, shoot, or throw a crack. By the way, cracks on this team are so good. Always take cracks because of those Rekka points. But anyways, like so you just have to think around like you need to shoot so you can then charge and fight later, or set up in different ways. Kind of a fun puzzle. And you also don't want to make them just pure Space Marines, right, with 3 APL base. So it's a good way to do it. And by the way, speaking of, I skipped the stats for everybody. We'll get to it, but like your average warrior is 12 wounds and a 4-up save. So with 2 APL base, a way to get that 3 APL. It's a cool distinction from just a straight up copy of like a reskin of Space Marines. So pretty cool. Those are the faction rules. I like them a lot. Let's go to the strategy ploys. Starting off with WA. Very, very cool. Friendly Rekka Crew operatives melee weapons have the balanced weapon rule. This is great. There's a way to get this ploy for free with a piece of equipment. So as long as you have, it's called glyphs. As long as you have Rekka points in your Rekka piggy bank, this ploy or the destruction ploy can be for free. Spoiler alert, you don't want the destruction ploy for free. You want WA for free because you're 4 dice on 3s for all your melee. So you need that reliability, and it'll be for free. It's great. It's awesome. Moving on down the line to another excellent ploy, Tough Gets. Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Wreck-It Crew operative that has an engage order, you can reroll one of your defense dice. This is good. After you charge and kill and go hot, and you're gonna have to eat a bunch of shooting or whatever, you're saving on 4s. So effectively, this is just an extra defense dice, which is like really good, sneaky, super good. They're going on to Destruction. This is you don't want this one. Don't take this one. Friendly Wreck-It Crew operatives' range weapons have the Saturate weapon rule. This is not a team that wants to be shooting in mass. Like I just so I don't like this one. But it is thematic if you want to take a bunch of shooting operatives, but like, please don't do that. Amped Up, each friendly Wreck-It Crew operative, this is awesome by the way, that has an engage order can immediately regain D3 plus 1 lost wounds, roll separately for each. So, while your warrior chassis here is 12 wounds on a 4-up save, that's 12 wounds in a 4-up save, by the way, with just a scratch. We're almost there. With just a scratch, with healing in the strategy phase, D3 plus 1, with basically an extra defense dice, because you're not going to make every 4-up every time. So getting a reroll is basically it's another shot, right? So it's another defense dice. So what we're looking at here is like a 12 wound model with 4 defense dice when you're on engage order, and you can heal up in the strategy phase. So like on average, you're a 14 wound model if you pop this turn 3, which you probably will, depending on how things have gone. So, not that different from a Space Marine, just tankier in different ways. Really fun design choices that the team has made. I'm a real big fan of it. I think this is awesome. So, of their strategy ploys, 3 of the 4 are very good. So you can see that this might be sort of a CP-intensive team, but thankfully, WA will always be free, and you'll never play Destruction. So let's go on to the Firefight Ploys. All right, here we go. You know it, you love it, you hate it. It's plagued you with, in your nightmares forever. They have just a scratch, babe. Real good. So basically, use this Firefight Ploy when an attack dice inflicts normal damage on a friendly Wreck-It Crew operative, excluding Bomb Squig. Ignore that inflicted damage. So what this is awesome at is like, man, in melee, somebody charges you. If they don't roll crits, even if they do, like, boom, they hit you. You ignore it. Now you're the attacker, and they have 1 less dice. So this will get you out of some real jams, get you out of some pickles, and just keep you alive. It's awesome. Like, always keep a CP in your pocket for this. It's excellent. Next up is Demolition Job. Use this Firefight Ploy after a friendly Wreck-It Crew operative performs the fight or shoot action just before incapacitated operatives are removed, if any. Place 1 of your demolition markers within the target's control range, if it's using a blast weapon, the primary target. Whenever a friendly Wreck-It Crew operative, excluding Bomb Squig, is shooting against, fighting against, or retaliating against an operative that's within 3 inches of that marker, you can spend a Wreck-It point for free, even if you have none. In the ready step of the next strategy phase, remove that marker. So, sounds great up until the last sentence there, in my opinion. Like, maybe at the top of a turn, if something goes down, and it's like, let's say maybe you're on Power Surge, and it's the center objective for some reason, and like, it's going to be going down. Maybe you can do that with it for that turn, but like, if it stayed there for the whole game, like kind of a dwarf thing. The first time I played this, I played it as if it was like that dwarf thing where, boom, this marker is here for the rest of the game. That was really good. That felt awesome. This one more situational. I don't think you're going to be playing it every game, but just keep in mind. Next up is Prop a Scrap. Use this Firefight Ploy during a friendly Wreck-It Crew Break-A-Boy or Wreck-It Crew Boss Knob operative's activation. During that activation, that operative can perform 2 fight actions. So you charge, you fight, you gain an extra APL because of the tanked up rule, and you can fight again. And that's really good on your boys because their profile is 4 attacks on 3s, 5-6 damage brutal. So, like, that's not nothing, you know what I mean? That's a pretty spicy profile to fight twice with. That's dropping Marines in 3 regular hits. So, like, that's pretty nutty. So, very good. You're going to want to save a CP in your pocket for this one as well, depending on the situation. The last one's a little bit of a gotcha ploy, but it's very fun. It's called Kaboom. All these names are very fun. Use this Firefight Ploy when a friendly Wreck-It Crew operative performs a shoot action and a weapon with the blast weapon rule is selected. Until the end of that action, add 1 inch to the weapon's blast, and it has a severe weapon rule when shooting the primary target. You cannot use this ploy in the drill rockets rule. It's an equipment thing, hold on. During the same action. Note that severe does not generate a Wreck-It point as it's not a 6. So, this is cool. You can sort of, like, a lot of your operatives have a 1 inch blast, and so people will be setting up around the 1 inch blast, and then, after you told them, obviously you want to give your opponent, hey, I have a ploy where I can put my blast up to 2 inches. They're going to hear that. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. They'll set out within 2, and then you just, fire hose everybody. Very good. So the strategic ploys and their firefight ploys, excellent, in my opinion. This is a fantastic suite of ploys to have access to. So like you can see, this could be a pretty CP intensive team. So don't also the good thing is you don't need CP rerolls with this team because you just will auto turn fails to hits. So like you should not be CP rerolling most of the time. There's too many good things to spend your money on here. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Love this. Let's move on to the operatives themselves. Rekka Boss Knob, baby. This guy is an absolute unit. He has 2 APL base with the tanked up ability, a move of 6 inches, a save of 4, and 14 whole wounds. A little Space Marine guy over here. So you can take either 1 rocket pistol, which is lame, and don't do that, and a Choppa, which is 4 attacks on 3s, 4/5, or you can take the Giga Chad loadout. By the way, the rocket pistol, the single rocket pistol hits on 5s. We're going to see that a few more times on this team. Or you can take the 2 rocket pistols, if you're Giga Chad, 6 shots on 4s, 4/5 damage, range 8, blast 1, ceaseless, dude. This is melting anything with Rekka points, right? And so you also, the 2 rocket pistols have a salvo profile, and that is 6 shots on 5s, 4/5, range 8, blast 1, salvo. Salvo, select up to 2 valid targets. Shoot with this weapon against both primary targets in an order of your choice. Then, against all remaining secondary targets in the same manner, roll each sequence separately. Each target, primary and secondary, cannot be shot more than once during the action. So that's pretty fun. That, by the way, that salvo has a 1-inch blast on it, which you could spend a CP to up that to 2. So lots of potential damage. Like that's pretty nutty. The 2 rocket pistols are just insane. You shoot it and they die. Like that's just everything dies. It's awesome. 6 shots. And they also have Rekka Boss. Whenever this operative performs a fight or shoot action, excluding guard, you gain 1 Rekka point. As soon as you send this guy in, you're probably going to have 6 Rekka points, right? Because he goes in turn 2, turn 3. You have 1 or 2 already, going from a Squig or a Pulsar rocket. We'll get there. And so he goes in, charges, you fight, boom, Rekka point. He rolls his dice, maybe another Rekka point. Thing dies, boom. You shoot, your 6 shots. That's probably a crit or 2, plus a crit from the shoot action, and now you will never miss anything for the rest of the game. This guy's awesome. I wish he had 3 APL. My one gripe with this team is a commando knob has 3 APL base. If this guy had 3 APL base, I think it would be way better. Just because, man, he's your one reliable, he can move dash shoot guy, whatever, but he's a 2 APL, and there are ways to give him 3 APL, so I'm not really complaining. I guess I'm complaining a little bit, but that's my one complaint is I wish he was 3 APL. But awesome, moving on to the Rekka Bomb Squigs, baby. Rekka Bomb Squigs are 2 APL, 6-inch move, 5-up save, and 5 wounds, just like their commando counterpart. He's got explosive, 6 attacks on 4s, 4/5, blast 1, limited 1, explosive. And that's the whole shoot action within combat range, control range thing. He's also stupid, so he can't do anything other than charge, dash, fight, reposition, and shoot. But you don't need him for anything else than that, honestly. He's got boom, so whenever you are incapacitated in a battle in which you did not yet use your explosives, you roll 1 or 2 d6 to put your choice, and on a 4-up, you blow up. Cool. Expendable, also he doesn't count towards the kill or slash elimination op when it's incapacitated and when determining your starting number of operatives. So they're just little flim-flams, little, piss babies just there to go and blow up. And they also these 2 guys are here to generate, generate Rekka points for you. So you can be really aggressive with them. You can hold them back to play mind games. This profile, 6 on 4s, 4/5, blast 1 is also lethal 5 in Vulcus and on ITD. So when you think about that, also oof, that's really good. So 2/3 of your hits are going to be crits with this guy. So really good. And again, they go in, they blow up, they generate Rekka points, they hurt. Which is awesome. And so also keep in mind that kaboom ploy where you can change that to 2 inches. So there's just a lot going on with this team. You could potentially devastate somebody with these guys. You'd also play really aggressive with these guys. At the end of turn 1, some games I'm just womp, send them out, one out in the open, one not. And it's okay, if I win initiative, I'm going to ruin your life. And if you win initiative, you have to spend your first activation dealing with this bomb squig. and that sucks. So like they're a big part of this team as bait, as Rekka point generation, as damage. Like they're just awesome, super awesome. Moving on to the Breakaboy Demolisher. This guy's hilarious. So he's got the standard Rekka profile of 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4-up save, 12 wounds. And he comes with the Tank Hammer. He has 2 profiles, Tank Hammer Bash and Tank Hammer Detonate. And so, actually, pardon me, it's not Hammer, it's Hammer. There's a full-on R at the end of that. So this is the Bash is 4 attacks on 3s, 4/5. Nothing to write home about. It's, a chop-up. Or you have the Detonate profile, which is 4 attacks on 3s, no damage. Interesting. Why does it do no damage? Lethal 5, limited 1, Detonate. Oh, that's funny. What does Detonate do? The first time this operative would inflict damage on an enemy operative with this weapon profile during the battle, separately inflict D6 plus 6 damage on that operative, and each other operative within that enemy operative's control range if it is a normal success. Or, remember this is lethal 5, by the way, friends. 2d6 plus 6 damage if it's a critical success. Then the action ends and you gain 1 Rekka point, plus 1 for everybody that died during that action. So this guy's an absolute unit. He's unchargeable. Like you can stage him into certain teams sort of aggressively, knowing that like what are they gonna do? Charge him? They can't, because like they charge you, it's okay. I choose to use the Detonate profile, and everybody gets blown to high heavens, and you just watch them cry. It's hilarious. It's awesome. The flip side to this guy is that sometimes on your opponent you'll roll double ones, on yourself you'll roll like a 5 and a 6. I've done that 2 times so far out of like the 4 or 5 times I've used him. But that's a Rekka crew, baby. That's the life that we are choosing to live. We're Giga Chads over here playing Rekkas. Legionaries and Warp Coven be damned. We're Rekka boys around these parts. And also he has Reckless Temperament. Normal damage of 4 or more inflicts 1 less damage on this operative. If he has an engage order, critical success of or critical damage of 4 or more also inflict 1 less damage on this operative. So it doesn't apply to the mortal wounds; those just get you. But pretty cool if he has gone engaged and somehow managed to live through his own activation. He's a little tankier. That's good. Moving on to the Breakaboy Fighter. This is your warrior for the break. This is a Breaka warrior. 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4-up save, 12 wounds. You know it, you love it. Smash Hammer. 4 attacks on 3s, 5/6 damage, and brutal. Dude, 5/6 brutal is nutty. Like, that's just full on nutty. Like, 5 attacks base, you are crushing everything. You're crushing elves. You're crushing marines. You're crushing, guardsmen. You're crushing the little snotlings in the other half of this box with 6 health. Like, so, pretty crazy, right? And also, they have a really cool ability, too. It's called Break Stuff. And that's me. That's me. I just want to, at my core, I just want to break stuff, right? And so you can live your fantasy out to these Breakaboy Fighters. Break Stuff is a 1 AP action. Select a terrain feature within this operative's control range. If it's equipment terrain, remove it. Oh, what was that, barbed wire? Not anymore. Otherwise, place one of your breach markers within this operative's control range as close as possible to that terrain. Whenever an operative is within 1 inch of that marker, it treats parts of that terrain feature that are no more than 1 inch thick as accessible terrain. Really good. So they're really cool. Like, just helping your teammates move through things easier. And on like Vulcus, like there's not a ton of things that are more than 1 inch thick as far as like terrain walls and stuff. So wicked. This is cool. You're gonna have 2 of these at all times on your team. Really, really good. Then we got the Breakaboy Crusher. He's got 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4-up save, and 12 wounds as well. He's got the Knuckle Bustas, dude. Don't get it wrong. He doesn't have Knuckle Dustas. He's got Knuckle Bustas, okay? Knuckle Bustas, 4 attacks on 3s, 5/6, brutal shock, smash. That's a heck of a word salad there. You've got smash. Whenever you strike, you can move the enemy operative in a straight line increment of up to 1 inch. If you do, it must finish the move further away from this operative and in a location it can be placed. Then move this operative in a straight line increment up to 1 inch. But it must end that move within the enemy operative's control range. If either isn't possible, you cannot move them. So this is potentially very zany, right? And like also, this is not, let me check, right? This is not when you fight. Like, it's not based on fighting or retaliating. It's when you strike. They charge you, and you just jackhammer them into the side of a building, or you charge and fight. Let's say you charge and fight a marine. Boom, you're jackhammering this guy to the other side of the board by the time you double fight him. You also got armored up. Whenever an enemy operative is shooting this operative, or this operative is fighting or retaliating, your opponent cannot retain attack dice results of less than 6 as a critical success. Sorry, elves. By the way, it says, as a result of lethal, rending, or severe weapon rules. So that's awesome. Actually, I didn't even know that. Shooting it, that's cool. Yeah, so like overcharged plasma won't help. Severe won't help. Rending won't help. Very cool. So he's tanky. He's great. Moving on to what I'm going to say is the one loser profile here. I feel like people are going to really see this and like this, but you shouldn't. Like this, you shouldn't. Tankbusta Gunna. Okay. 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4-up save, 12 wounds. You knew it was coming. He's got an heavy rocket launcher, 6 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4-5, blast 1, heavy dash only, or he can have a rocket launcher. 6 attacks on 5s, 4-5, blast 1. And he has fists, 3 attacks on 3s, 3-4. He has competitive streak. Once per shoot action, if this operative shoots an enemy operative that another friendly operative has already shot during this turning point, you gain 1 Rekka point. Determine this when you select a valid target, but you can include any secondary targets when doing so. Example from the blast weapon rule. So, there is a team comp here where you take a bunch of Tankbusta Gunnas and shoot things and generate tokens all day long, but you're doing that because you're a crazy person and you just want to have a good time and do zany things. In general, you don't take this guy, right? Because his good loadout is the heavy rocket launcher, but it's heavy dash only. That's pretty devastating. I don't like that. So leave this guy at home. Don't build him. I'll give you the 1-box build. This is a 1-box team in my opinion. Then we have the Tankbusta Rokketeer. Moving on to a different Tankbusta. This guy is an auto take. You never leave him home. He's incredible. Bring him all the time. This guy has the options of a pulsar rocket, 6 attacks on 5s, heavy reposition only, limited 1 pulsar. What does that do? Pulsar. This is a word salad here. Don't select a valid target. Instead, place your pulsar marker visible to this operative or on vantage terrain of a vantage feature visible to this operative. This marker gains 1 pulsar point. Then roll attack dice. It gains 1 additional pulsar point for each success, hitting on 5s, to a maximum of 3 additional points. Separately inflict D3 damage on each operative wholly within X of that marker, where X is that marker's pulsar points. Then the action ends. So you roll your dice, the pulse gets bigger depending on how many hits you get, and everybody in that bubble takes D3 mortal wounds. What this really is good for is turn 1, you fish for 6s, right? You should get on 6 shots, hitting on 5s, you should get 1-6, and that's great. If all you get is 1-6, that's fine. You've got your turn 1 Rekka point, so you go into turn 2 with Rekka points. You'd also take he gets a rocket launcher, 6 shots on 5s, 4-5, blast 1. It's iffy, but sometimes with Rekka points, it can kind of pop off. Ooh, also, sorry, I forgot about this on the pulsar. Whenever an operative is within X of your pulsar marker, worsen the hit stat of its weapons by 1 and subtract 2 inches from its move stat. This is cumulative with being injured. That's kind of disgusting. X is that marker's pulsar points. In the ready step of each strategy phase, subtract 1 from your pulsar marker's points. If a pulsar marker ever has 0 points, remove it. So you can kind of see how this is nutty. You can drop it turn 1 to fish. You can drop it later in the game to shut down the sniper nest or something like that. Like there are cool things you can do with it, but you always want the Tankbusta Rokketeer. Or you have a choice between the pulsar rocket or the rocket rack. Rocket rack is 6 shots on 5s, 4-5, blast 2 inches. So think about increasing this to 3-inch blast. Kind of gross. Heavy reposition only, limited 1, relentless. Not much relentless in the game anymore. And so this is pretty nasty here. So you always take the pulsar rocket basically, but there are some situations in the dark where maybe the rocket rack is good, like into elites or something. So it just does nutty damage. You can do the math. That's all the operatives. So let me tell you how to build this team. So here's your 1-box build. You never need more operatives than this. Okay, this is the truth, right? So you want a Rekka Boss Knob with 2 pistols. You want your 2 Bomb Squigs, your Breakaboy Demolisher, 2 of your Breakaboy Fighters, a Breakaboy Crusher, and a Tankbusta Rokketeer. That's 8. Okay, that's what you're gonna take every game. Okay, you don't need the gunner. Pardon me, gunner. Look at this, what the team is doing to my brain. It's full-on Rekka brain rot right now. But you're always going to want the 2 rocket pistols. Like, why would you trade? Like, you get a smash hammer, but you already have more of those on the board already. You don't need that. You want those two pistols. You always want the Rokketeer. Don't take the gunners, guys. Please. I'm asking you as your friend. Don't take the gunners. Like, or you know what? Let me walk that back. Follow your heart. Don't take the gunners. But follow your heart. If you want to be the gunner guy, go for it. I just think it's not what this team really wants to do. Because, like, if you look at all their ploys, they want to get stuck in. They have a couple operatives that are worth shooting, but in general, this is not a team that Like, ooh, you get saturate for free on all your weapons. Like, it's not that great. So, faction equipment, you have drill rockets. Once per turning point, whenever a friendly Rekka crew operative is performing the shoot action and you select a rocket launcher or heavy rocket launcher, you can use this rule. If you do, until the end of that action, that weapon loses the blast weapon rule. It has the piercing weapon rule. So, you can't do this on the 2 twin rocket pistols, which is a bummer. I think you could maybe take this into elites. Like, that could make sense, but Under the Dark, probably not. You probably want that, the rocket pack, so the lethal 5 on them instead. But obviously, this is situations where this is going to be good. Extra armor. This one is interesting. This one's super interesting. Subtract 1 inch from the move stat of friendly Rekka crew operatives and add 1 to their wound stat. This excludes bomb squig operatives. So you would go to orcs with 5 inches of movement, and then your knob has 15 wounds, and your boys have 13. So there's probably some situations where you do this. Maybe elves with like the lethal 5, power weapons who are doing 12 damage. And your Justice Scratch doesn't work on that. So maybe I don't know. There's probably situations where this is good. But, man, going to a 5-inch move and having to move through all these doors, which is going to cost, an inch. So really, a 4-inch move going through a door, it's tough, man. I have not used this yet, but I'm looking for an opportunity to use it, let's say. Engine oil. This one's real good. Once per turning point, whenever a friendly Rekka crew operative, excluding the bomb squig, is activated, you can use this rule. If you do, until the end of that activation, you can ignore any changes to that operative's stats from being injured, including its weapon stats. So, this is clearly excellent. You get injured, you need to go in and charge, go in and shoot. You don't want to be hitting on 5s or 6s with your shooting. Boom, you pop this, you're back to normal. Take 2 of these, call me in the morning. Excellent. And then you have glyphs. When this item of equipment is selected, also select the Wa or Destruction Strategy ploy. The first time you would use that ploy during the battle, it costs 0 CP. Whenever you would use it thereafter, it costs 0 CP if you have any Rekka points. Ooh, I actually had that wrong a little bit. So that's cool. Actually, I've been nerfing this one a little bit. So the first time is for free, which is great. And after that, you need to have Rekka points. You'll always have one in the tank, I promise. So, in review of this team, I love this team. This is my new favorite kill team. No other kill team has ever been this fun. I doubt any kill team will ever be this fun. Power level wise, I don't know, dog. I think they're good enough. They're certainly not Legionaries or Warp Coven level, but we don't want teams to be that strong, right? Let's be honest here. That is too strong. It's not what we want. We want teams that are balanced and fun and strong in their own ways. I think Rekkas are that exactly. Time will only tell. This is just for my few games that I have played with them. I'm more of an expert than you on it because I have a couple games, but I am no true expert on this. But they're very fun. They felt very good. They feel capable, and I'm a big fan, obviously. Some weaknesses for this team is that, man, if you don't get the ball rolling, it's gonna hurt. But if you do the right things, the ball should get rolling. If you throw that Pulsa out, you should get some Rekka points, right? If you throw those bomb squigs out, you should get some Rekka points. Like, if you don't roll a 6 a whole game, man, that really does suck. But it shouldn't happen, right? Math is on your side, and the way the team functions, when you blow up that rocket guy, you get a Rekka point, +1 for everybody who dies, including yourself, right? When you shoot with a knob and fight with a knob, you get a Rekka point. It's like, boom. There are ways to generate without rolling those 6s. You should be able to get it going. But weaknesses, I also think AP is probably going to shred this team to bits. There's no protection against that. They are sort of sneakily durable. If you look at it, you might think, oh man, these guys aren't tough like Marines. I don't see it. Remember, they're 12 wounds on a 4-up save, but with that ploy, it's really like having 4 defense dice. And then you've also got that healing. So on average, man, you should be as long as you don't outright die, you should be 14 wounds effectively, maybe even more if you pop it, turns 3 and 4, or turns 2, 3, and 4, whatever it is. So really good stuff there. They're very tanky in their own unique way, which I think is awesome. I said it once before, but I love what the kill team design team has done with this team. They've used really interesting and new and fresh concepts to sort of give us a new elite team, because there's not enough of those, in my opinion, in the game. Everybody's sick of them right now, but I love elite teams, and I always will. So this does not feel like a reskin of anything. It does not feel like, well, you got your double knife guy, and you got your grenadier, and you got your medic, and those sort of criticisms that I think are fair. But this is just a straight up unique team, and it's fun. You're gonna love it. I think we're gonna see a lot of these out in the wild because they are so cool and fun, and I think it'll be very popular. But I like them. As far as competitive viability, I think I got some teeth, man, or teeth. Pardon me. I think I got some teeth So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I will be playing them competitively for a little while here. Maybe I'll get my nose, broken a little bit, but I'm definitely going to try it, and I'm going to have tons of fun doing it. Let me tell you what. So, Games Workshop, thank you very much for providing me with this review copy. Pre-order this if you want this team, either one of these teams. The Rattlings are also really fun. I'll do another video on those at some point. But the Rekkas are much more my speed, and I love them. So, thank you very much for watching this. It's probably longer than I wanted it to be, but I'm new to these, early review copy team review things, so I appreciate your mercy on me. Let me know, are you amped, are you tanked up for this team, are you bricked up for this team? Let me know. I certainly am, and I would like to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the team that you would want to play? Is the team you'd want to play against? Do you think they look fun? Do you think they look too strong, too weak, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And thank you for checking out this video. If you want, you can like it, all that kind of stuff. You can check out my podcast that I do with my best buds in the whole world, Reese and Russ from 3FN, GFN Gaming, and Threes to Wound. It's called Kill Team Casuals. We'll be talking about this in depth, both teams. So get this from GW or from your friendly local game store. I think it's like $120-ish if you have a local game store. It's a good price for 2 teams in terrain, 2 brand new teams, not a reskin, not upgrade sprue. So I think this is awesome. I think that's all I got to say. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and I'll see you next time.